Welcome to this week's edition of Under the Gold Dome. We have a special edition this week because we're going to be dealing with a topic that probably all of us have experienced at some point in our lives in school systems, the subject of bullying and the impact that it has. We have two guests today, and my colleague, Representative Sharper. Why don't you introduce yourselves right quick so everybody knows who's with us.
Okay, my name is Sharon Tomlinson. I'm the CEO of Studio 11 Films.
Okay.
My name is Avery Williams. I'm the co-director of the film we're going to talk about, Misguided Behavior. And
Okay.
I'm also a professor at Morehouse College in
Okay,
Atlanta.
my alma mater.
Your alma mater?
Yeah.
All right.
Class
All right.
of 1975.
That was a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, actually, I graduated from Morehouse, too.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, right.
You weren't in my class.
No, right. I still got, I'm not all gray yet, right?
But this is a subject that is of importance to a lot of people. I understand that you are in the process of producing a film, and the film is dealing with the subject matter of bullying, and the fact that just about every child probably at some point in time has been a victim or a participant in this subject matter. But I don't know that everybody knows how people are really impacted by this, and I believe that's the subject of your film. Is that correct? Why don't you just tell us a little bit about the film and what you're trying to accomplish?
That's correct. The name of the film is called Misguided Behavior. And, we wanted to create something that not just talked about the victim, but also about the bully as well. So
Okay.
there's two sides to the whole subject matter in itself. And, it really is a call to action to, get help in those areas. We created a program called Arms Against Bullying, which is accountability, responsibility, and manageability. So within the movie, in the context of the movie, we touch on different areas to show the dynamic between the bully, the victim, the parents that are associated with the situation. And we decided to pick one particular area of it, which is bullying leading to suicide, because the suicide rate has increased so much. So we wanted to show the coalition and how to deal with it. So that's the premise of the movie. And Avery is one of the co-directors of the movie,
Okay.
so he can talk a little bit more in terms of the stylistic.
Yeah, so what we have here is a father and son story.
Okay.
Basically, we try to show the interconnectivity of violence and sort of the way it manifests itself in our families. Because the father's a cop.
Okay.
He's a tough guy. He's out there, doing the law and order thing.
So the cop is the father of the bully, or
No, of the victim.
Okay.
That's right. And his son is a victim.
Okay.
But his son, feeling like he can't live up to his father's expectations,
Okay.
hides the fact that he is being bullied at school.
Okay.
And as such, that creates a lot of internal trauma in the family between the cop and his wife, and then the son and his friends. And so we try to just show that this sort of thing finds its way in the family in a lot of impacting situations.
Okay. We didn't give a chance for you to introduce yourself. Why don't you do that right quick? Because I know you want to respond to what he said. So.
Right. Okay. I'm Representative Dexter Sharper. I serve South Georgia, Valdosta, District 177. And first of all, I'm very happy that you guys allowed me the opportunity to be a part of this. And earlier today, during the morning order, we was talking about Bullying Truth Day, which gives the bully the opportunity to have a clean slate with the people that they victimized. And I'm just excited about what's going on. As a paramedic, I've seen where we've had young people, attempt suicide or even commit suicide due to bullying. So, I'm here with you, and like I told them today, this is just a start. We can put it out there, but after the day, we got to get on the ground, and we got to work with other organizations to help us recognize, what's going on in the school systems. But, I'm excited about this.
Well, let's talk about this a little more in depth. I heard you say that this is a two-sided thing. You are addressing the issues of the person that's the victim, but also issues as relates to the bully. So talk to me a little bit about that dynamic.
Well, part of the dynamic is that we actually don't just want to show the bully the one-dimensionality of it. So we actually go into his home and we deal with the fact that he has a father that has is somewhat abusive towards him, and so,
So the bully was bullied.
that's right, by his dad, by his particular dad. That's correct. So, like I said, when I say a father and son story, we're dealing with two sets of father and sons, and how each child sort of plays out their own insecurities on the schoolyard in different ways. And so,
Are you dealing with people who actually have, the families, I guess, of people who actually did commit suicide as a result of this? Is it a documentary type movie, or is it
No, it's an actual motion picture feature film.
okay?
And so we in prior to this, we did a lot of research, and just in terms of speaking with different families and speaking with different dynamics. We're working with different student boards and school boards and PTAs, and we just wanted to make sure we cover our bases and make sure that we looked at situations like the Columbine and got into the psyche of actually where this comes from and where it aligns to. We had some medical doctors on board with us, psychologists that kind of really consulted us as we brought these pieces together. Initially, we got a great script from a young man by the name of Victor Cobb, who presented me with the script. But there were some elements that were missing in the script that really is where Avery even added from a director's standpoint to really impact people watching it. And we want people to walk away and really have a certain feeling to make a change and make a difference.
Well, that's what I want to get into. We got about 10 more minutes, but what I really want to do is understand what makes a bully, okay? And a bully cannot be a bully unless the victim allows themselves to be victimized. Is that kind of, because a bully preys on people who will allow them to be a bully. Is that?
Well, let me interject something on that. A lot of times, a bully, they really don't know that they're being a bully in some cases.
Okay.
Sometimes when you're just cutting jokes on people, you may think, well, we're just playing around, we're just cutting jokes, but that's a part of bullying someone, especially if they can't cut jokes as good as you, then you're being bullied. So there's a lot of different elements that we don't really think is bullying.
So we're talking about mental and physical.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean,
Mental.
and that's what we really cover in the movie is we cover the dynamic that goes on at home. You see the interaction between the father and son, the father that's abusing the young man at home, and he's the victim.
Okay.
And then he brings that to school, and then he's using the same antics, and then he becomes the bully. So he's using the same abusive manners towards the kids at school, and it's almost like he's lashing out. So it carries over into some form of a mental illness as well. But to what you were saying is that no, they don't really know necessarily, but it. The reason we even created the attachment of the arm approach is so that people around them, the bystanders, can identify and speak up, because a lot of times the victims are voiceless.
So
And
that's a good point, because there was an article or something that they ran on the news the other day where a woman was attacked at a gas station, and everybody stood around and watched what was going on. I don't know if you saw it on the news, but nobody stepped in to help or whatever. In fact, somebody just kept pumping the gas. They were standing right there next to her, and she was clearly being, I think bullying probably is a mild word in this particular instance, but the what is it? How do you get other people to be engaged when they see the behavior that you're trying to address? There's a fear factor, I guess, too, that I don't want to get involved in that. I don't want to.
Well,
So how do you get people to be engaged?
part of that is what the 3-step approach that we created, is accountability, responsibility, and manageability, and not being afraid. And if you have more people that join together to say, we're going to be held accountable for this. The schools that may give them a slap on the hand and say, go back to class, or patch up your bloody nose and say, go back to class. And it's a rite of passage of what the bully stands for. But now let's look at this as not just being bullied, but being harassed. Let's look at this as us being held accountable, and then taking responsibility to take it to the next level and not be afraid. There's so many cases that I've read about of the kids. One case in Florida, a young lady was in the shower. She was taking a shower at school. The young girls took a picture of her, posted it on Snapchat. By 5 o'clock that evening, she was committing suicide. She went home and got a gun and shot herself because it went viral. So cyberbullying. So it carries over, and so somebody has to take responsibility. And then it's managing the situation. It's making sure that if these individuals have talked about or thought about or mentioned suicide, that we take it serious, that we manage that situation and pay attention to the youth that are doing this, because it's a serious situation, and when they say it, they actually do it.
So in the example that you just gave of the young lady in the shower, she was clearly a victim, no question about it.
Absolutely.
But then what about all of the people that participated in putting that film out there? How did they deal with the fact that they led to somebody's death?
That's a very good point. We think that as bystanders, as we just sort of watch and promulgate this sort of activity, that we are innocent, but we're not. We are actually complicit in that. Our fellow alum MLK talked about this years ago. When you want to think about talking about somebody, just ask yourself these 3 questions: is it true? Is it kind? And is it necessary?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, if you can answer all those and all those are affirmative, then fine, go right ahead. But in this particular case, you think about it, how often we want to show somebody what somebody else has done, or
Right.
we want to talk about what somebody else did. We are actually perpetuating this cycle of abuse and violence and bullying by what we seem to be very innocent actions, but they're not innocent at all. So we must learn to be accountable for them ourselves and hold our young people accountable.
Okay.
And I'm going to interject. I'm so happy. I've seen a preview of Misguided Behavior, and I'm very impressed with it. And they have a lot of actors that we see on the big screen, with Carl Payne and Clifton Powell.
Okay.
So it's not just it's a real deal situation.
Okay.
And I'm happy that it's going to reach that audience that we're looking for. Most people are in front of a television doing something, so I think they're going to be excited to see it, the whole action. But the biggest thing, we want them to make sure they get the message that we're trying to get out there.
So when is the movie going to be ready for airing?
We're actually doing a sneak peek of a couple of scenes today at 2 p.m.
Okay.
We're
Where?
actually screening it in April and May in some different markets, as
Okay.
well as in
So
Georgia.
the film is complete?
The film, we finished shooting the film. The
Okay.
film was finished
Mhm.
last
All right.
year. We were in post-production right
Okay.
now. But just to add to what you were saying, we strategically cast for this film because we wanted to make sure we reached the youth in a way where entertainment, draws them, but then they walk away with a message. So we
Okay.
have the group Mindless Behavior, Elijah Johnson, Princeton, Mike Martin. Those youth and their peers
Okay.
they can attract the right group of individuals to get the message across, as well as Khalil Kane and Doris Magado, Carl Payne, Clifton Powell. So we have some really great, amazing talent to bring this story to life.
That's great. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie.
They can go to misguidedbehavior.com.
I was getting ready to say, how can they find out where it's going to be airing?
Right.
Say it one more time.
misguidedbehavior.com or
Okay.
studio, the number 11 films.com.
Okay. Now, if people want to, will that show where it's going to be aired and all this other thing?
Right, they can go to studio11films.com.
Okay. And is there a phone number that they could call if they need to? Because everybody doesn't have a computer, so.
678-833-6277.
Okay.
And that's also for people that want to get involved in the efforts of
Yes,
bullying that
absolutely.
leads to suicide. There's a lot of organizations that we can partner with.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Any last thing that you'd like to say?
Yeah, I was going to say on a larger note, as a professor and a filmmaker, I want to throw my hat into the ring with you guys who are part of the legislature to please do what you can to keep film and funding for films here in Georgia. I came to school here a few years ago, and I fell in love with Georgia.
Okay.
And even though I lived in New York and in California,
That's my home.
Is that
Are
right?
you following me around?
There he is, right?
What
Are
part of New
related?
York?
I was in Manhattan. I went to NYU
I grew
for
up
grad
in
school.
Harlem.
Is that
I
right?
was born in Harlem.
Oh, okay. So I was about to mention the St. Nicholas Pub. Do you know this place?
Well, I grew up in the St. Nicholas Projects.
Oh, hello. There it is.
Okay.
So what we want to do is just to make sure that you do whatever you all do to make sure that the tax breaks and all the things necessary to keep film making here in Georgia, that you do it. And we will stand behind you and continue to try to make relevant films and good films that everyone will want to see.
And we're going to do that. And you're kind of following the footsteps of another very famous Morehouse filmmaker, are you not?
What's his name?
Spike Lee.
Yes,
All right.
Spike influenced me. Yeah, when he went to NYU, I said, well, I think I want to go there too. But it's not just Spike, but we have other great Morehouse men who are following along that same line.
Yeah,
doing
and
a lot
we
of
have
good
quite
things.
a few pretty famous Morehouse folks that are in the film industry now.
That's right.
He's probably been in a bunch of movies. I know he was in movies. Trying to remember his name that quick.
Who, Samuel L.
Sam Jackson.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then the young man that just died not too long ago.
Bill Nunn.
Bill Nunn.
Right.
In fact, Bill was in my class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I understand there's a couple of ladies from Spelman that are also in the
Oh
film
my gosh,
industry.
yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so it's let's put a plug in for our alma mater.
That's
all
right,
I'm
right.
saying.
Well, we do.
And all of the HBCUs. To your point about funding,
Yes.
I'm going to take this opportunity to say that you're absolutely right. We need to do that. But we need to support our HBCUs as well, and make sure that they have the resources to be able to continue to employ people with the talent and skills that you seem to be demonstrating, and that of the people we just talked
Yeah,
about.
especially now on a national basis, since we're getting word that NEA is not going to be funded,
Yeah.
and then some other what they would consider philanthropic endeavors the funds are being
Yeah.
pulled down. So we need to do it on the local level.
That's a story for another show, and we probably need to do that.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
So thanks again. I appreciate you guys coming out, and I look forward to seeing the movie. Thank you.
My friend.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you so
us.
much.
Thank
Thank you.